So then let's also record, fix my hairstyle, and go back to development. So everybody, I don't know if that was recorded by default or if I can get it from Twitch or whatnot. So everybody that did not start, I don't know if I think you need to kind of like find it on Twitch or not, or it's just, so I didn't do so much. I just edited README and yeah, and talked a lot about why I came here and not. But I guess I will tell a little bit more about that at some other point in time. So let's just keep on developing. So what I said is we need to set up the repo a little bit more. So yeah, so close this out. So I for myself I did already make a decision how to get going. So I wanted to try out something that you know, I came across while developing with Vue, and it's the Quasar framework. Normally, you know, so in my you know, developer's life, I'm not a fan of those frameworks and whatnot, because you know, at some point you will kind of like try to rip everything out, and some things make it are, you know, really hard to rip out. So you know, everybody that started a React project and used the material design or bootstrap thingies or whatever those things is, are, you know, you get this thing that always looks like a prototype, and then it's really hard to remove that. You know, correct me if I'm wrong, but you know, that's at least my opinion. But on the other hand, you know, development, you know, from scratch, or you know, using, you know, more micro library approaches is really hard. So but hard things are good, so I decided to do both. So kind of I decided to, you know, to do like the proper hardcore developers implementation on you know, on with React and TypeScript and, you know, all those fancy things, and you know, really trying to, you know, optimize for performance and all those fancy things. And on the other hand, but I wanna, you know, I wanna be able that people are able to use it really, really, really fast, and you know, doing everything, you know, kind of from scratch, or you know, not from scratch, but you know, like in a proper development thing is not as fast and not as intuitive as just chucking things together with this bootstrappy approach. And that's why I kind of thought I wanted to extend my experiences in Vue a little bit more, and that's why I decided to have like the prototype thing that can, you know, either stay as it is, or you know, or even we give Quasar a chance, and you know, and see how nice this is for customizing and creating, you know, proper design and whatnot on top of that. So that would be the rapid prototyping tool, and then see later if that can, you know, stay, or needs to go, or it needs to be just a prototype, or whatever. And then we have this other track where we have this Reacty TypeScript boom bam thing. So, and then also then it gives us the possibility to you know, it gives the possibility for interested developers to kind of get on board with either this or that, you know. Packages. So we need the packages folder, and then we want to use Yarna workspaces. So we need workspaces. configuration. So yeah. So let me just think of that. I'm not doing this so very often, so I think that it needs just an entry, like the entry point for the workspaces in here in the package JSON. Yeah, and everything in packages is a workspace. Okay. And best practices for workspaces, or I don't know, best practices. I think it's nice to also leverage Learner to kind of be able to deal with the workspaces and the packages a little bit simpler. I don't know if we really need it, but it doesn't hurt. So let's create a file for Learner. It's a JSON file, learner.json, and then you need we create an object, and it has Learner key and version, and I don't know what the version will be, so let's put this in later. And it also needs this packages. Happy duplicating. It's an array, and there, oh no, sorry, JSON, and there we need to specify where the packages are, and also here we can use the star. Packages to create that, and then I think a version key for versioning. I think the Learner has also the notion of like version everything separately, or everything together. We need to figure this out, but we obviously, since we have different development cycles for different implementations, we should do this separately, but I don't remember how this works. And we give it our npm client as yarn, because I like to use yarn until the next great thing comes along. Let me know in the comments. So blah 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 blah, Learner JSON. So we have package JSON, Learner JSON, we have packages, so we need to create packages, right? So the thing is, what do we need to do? We need to figure out what do we want to use there. Do we need to server-side render? PWA? Probably. So for that, we need to clear the console, make a little bit more room that we see. Whoa, oh, that's I think that's too much. I hope you can see that. Yeah, let me think. Yeah, we should, since we created that stuff, we should also I guess we should also install Learner, right, as div dependency yarn add --div Learner, and I think a capital W for in the global, not workspace, but global repo scope. Yeah. Seems to not complain. Yep. So we have our node modules folder. So let's create our next project. So I never remember that. I copy and paste from stuff that I already created, but let's look up how this goes from the get-go. Nextjs.org, right? Yes. So new docs, getting started, TypeScript. I think it's just okay, it just yeah, so we can just getting started, and then yarn create next app. Okay, so cd packages. Let's call it React next. Since so the next guy can come in and call the app React. I know, but this is long and we always have to type that for the workspace. Let's call it, the first guy gets the short name. I say, let's call it React. And put it in the description how it is, and I don't have to type this, and then if we need to refactor that later, we can. Wham bam blah blah. I don't know if there's a way of not doing the install there. Yeah, so since we use workspaces thing, we don't wanna have this checked out here. That gives problems. So because yarn workspaces will handle that, and also we don't need the log file, and so we do that stuff all over again. But we have created our next React thingy. So so we can do the proper install for our workspaces. Yarn workspace React. No, we don't even need that. That's just yarn, and it picks it up. So, and then we can look in here, and then we should have here our import, and nothing is complaining, right? Because it finds that, okay. Yeah, so our install happened, and then we can see like here in node modules we don't have we don't have all the packages, we only have what is specific here. So I don't know, it handles that by itself, and that makes most sense to only have one yarn lock. Okay, so we have our first package. So the name is React. We should leave that as that. And we have our scripts there. And those installations here. What did I want to do here? Yeah, so let's TypeScriptify that. What does the doc say? Touch tsconfig JSON. Yeah, okay. Blah, 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 blah. And run next. So that's yarn workspace React dev boom. Yeah, we need those. Yeah, so let's get those. Thank you for explaining that. So we need to blah 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 React in the workspace. We add TypeScript and types React. La 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 la. Types node, yeah, the documentation say you should have types node, and I also think that you should have that. So that's always good. Just a regular band-aid for everything. By the way, if you see me dancing around here, that's my personality, and also, I learned that from how's it called? Schiffman, David, Daniel. I need to figure this out. Schiffman, but he's great. The coding train, anybody that doesn't know the coding train on YouTube or on Twitch or wherever you want to find him, it's just amazing. But that's yet another thing. So now we have TypeScript, and let's see if we can start those. TypeScript, yay! Populate with default values, la la la, bundled. And on localhost, like everything in my life is on localhost. Let's see. Localhost 3000. Welcome to Next.js. Get started by editing. Yes. And that also reminds me of we should rename those little beasts. TSX. Web. And so that's kind of it. Is it still working? It is still working. Oh yeah. So when then we can also start. Let me hide. Isn't it? Oh, let me hide that and head. Yeah. Okay. Let's leave the head. Let's leave the main. So welcome to. Yeah. We don't need that. Welcome to the better/best social network. Wham bam bam. So description. One. Poof. Grid. Wow. Grid. We don't need grids. Oopsie, a leftover div, right? Yeah. So we have that footer. We have a footer. Yeah, we don't need a footer. we don't need JSX styling because I will use theme UI. Whoa, and global and whatnot. So remove that and break the style. Let's break the style. Bam. Oopsie, what did I break? Did I break everything? Please give me back. Hot reloading. Yes. Ugly as hell. Ugly and simple. Wham bam. So that is our home. Super MVP. And but so Pulim, I should take a break. My break timer says. So I'm going to stretch a little bit and tell my OBS thingy that I'll be right back. Yep, be right back. And yeah, and I'm still talking here, and there's still microphone, so. By the way, I could just stretch with you, right? So the thing is, I'm old, and I get some protrusions here in my back, and yeah, and so I have a timer that tells me to at least only, I'm abusing a Pomodoro timer that tells me every like 30 minutes that it's enough what I did, and yeah, and that I need to stretch, so everything's better. So okay, so let's go back to editing a bit. So we have that, but we also need to configure our prettier and everything, so we can just copy that here. Yep. So now we also have a prettier config in here, because here we want to give people the chance to configure that separately, and configure that print width to 119 and have spaces or tabs or whatnot, whatever they want to do. But since this is my thing, a React thing, I will leave it at that, and then I need to also configure the ESLint. So since I never remember that I have just some repo where I have those files put in. So there's my ESLint RC, and to be able to hide the bar, we need to install a little bit of those plugins for ESLint so they can do their proper job. I need to look up my documentation for that. Start a project. By the way, you can find those things on my homepage. I will show you later. Or hey, put the link below in the description. YouTube thing. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. So we didn't I? Oh, it seems, or I did not have that. Okay, I need to document that. So yeah, but I can figure this out by one of my package JSON thingies. So I need to yarn workspace react add --dev, and then what do I need? I need ESLint, obviously. To be, you know, I would not need it if I have it globally installed, but that just doesn't fly if you then later on want to use it in the in the CI, which is also something we need to set up. And then we need the ESLint plugin and for TypeScript, and then we need the parser for ESLint, and then we need the ESLint config prettier because we want to play them nice together. And we also need the plugin for ESLint, ESLint config, ESLint plugin. And since we are using React, we also need the ESLint plugin React, or we want it, let's say that. And we need to install prettier. That's also a thing. To have that available also for if you want to run prettier or something on something. But yeah, it's better to have not, you know, to fix your versions in your repo. So let's install those. And let me just copy those and put this in my know-how documentation repo. Real quick. What's happening here? You cannot see that. I'm just struggling with you know, with on my other window on that TypeScript, blah blah blah, React TypeScript, and then view it in here. Yarn add. So next time we need to look this up. We have it there. How can you remember all that shit? So there's documentation on the ESLint side and whatnot, but it's good to, you know that for once you know, and not do it again, and you know, just copy and paste that, and then figure out if you need to change it later. No, I don't want to type weird characters, so I want to check if that works. So I think that next, yeah, configures tsconfig with no emit, so we can check our TypeScript. let's create a script to type check, and that should just TSC, and let's see if that works. Type check. Yeah. Let's break something. Yeah. So what's up with ESLint? Since the window is so small, I cannot see. I guess ESLint is a little bit picky here on problems, output, ESLint, la 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 la, happened while blah blah blah, is spelled incorrectly in ESLint RC. TypeScript ESLint declared. Yeah, I guess it needs kind of a reload to figure out that it can be working. So let's just if I quit out of here, then this window is gone from my stream. So I will do this later, and let's just hope or think that that everything works out. Maybe I can ESLint, can I disable? No. Disable workspace? No. Yeah, was an idea. But however, we will see later on if this. I will need a break anyways. So let's have this. So now we have our React Next project. It is kind of up and running. We configured ESLint if I did my job correctly. We have prettier, so we have that. And I mentioned we should also configure that our commits are properly formatted. So that's a thing that we still can still do. So also here I need to kind of look up on my cheat sheet. So we have that. So so we need to install. What I use there is commitlint. So we need to add that yarn workspace React. No. Yarn, not workspace. We want to have this globally. Yarn add yeah, we want a Husky for checking the stage files, and we want to commitlint the commits, and we want config conventional and the CLI of commitlint. Wait, I need to not forget the -w to install this on the parent repo. let's close this out. This is our package.json. The stuff is appearing. And then we need to add the Husky config. So that is comma, right? So this, let's hide that. It's running the commit lint, and that's in the documentation. It kind of like passes on the parameters from that Husky finds to commit lint, and then commit lint can execute the stuff. And then we need a commit lint config file, and that we can that we also need to just put in the root. I have one prepared for here, just out of the oven, and that's kind of I'm still using the default that they have on their things. That worked always for me. So that's here you can see the prefixes that you can use: build, chore, CI, docs, feed, fix, perf, refactor, revert, style, and test. All of those make sense in their way. So I think that makes I don't think that you need more. I don't know if you really need all of them. Most of the times I use chore and feed and CI and test. I should maybe start using style and what. And format that in lowercase makes sense, and I don't know. At some point, maybe we configure emojis, or somebody can come in and make this all better. And I think we can also maybe just commit our work a little bit. So. Yeah, all the scaffolding thing. Forget it. I should split this and then stage half of the stuff that I put in package.json and whatnot. I should have thought of that a little bit earlier. So let's just combine that. This is not a feature, that's a chore. I'm just saying setup, and then let's just say base set top and next JS scaffold. I think that's good enough for me. So I think I'm gonna stop the stream, as I say all the time, and come back a little bit later. Yeah. So thanks for not watching. It seems a bit complicated for a hello world, lol. Yeah, you're right. You are right. I should have named that better, but I am a total noob in Twitch streaming. Is there a possibility to add? Yeah, Spencer. So you are my very first viewer. Smiley. Nice. Yeah. So I'm gonna quit out of that and say goodbye, and then and then we continue with our complicated super hello world. No, let's. Next time I will really name it correctly, and then I think that Should be better. So thanks a bunch to Spencer Adolf, my first real viewer. And let's see what came out of this and if I recorded correctly and whatnot. So I'm ending the stream. Bye bye. See you soon.